Hello, everyone, and welcome to our online interviews series with IIBA leaders. And today we have Terry Roach. Actually, Terry is the director of the International Institute of the Business Analysis. And it's really nice to see you here today and have an opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, Yulia. It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Terry, you have a great career in executive positions. And how did you start?
How did I start? Well, my career came through the IT space. I've been in various roles in large global corporate technology companies, big household brands like Oracle and Siebel and PeopleSoft and so on. And sometime I had the crazy idea, maybe 10 years ago, that I should make an academic detour in my life. And I went off and did a PhD out of interest, and we might come to that a bit later, that got sparked. And that turned out to be perhaps the most exciting and opportunity that I had. Out of that, I came up with an idea that I've now turned into a business. Today, I'm the CEO of a company called Capsifi. We have a software product that's aimed at business analysts and business architects for doing, supporting practice. And I came to know the various communities of both business analysts and business architects in the IIBA, and gradually got closer and closer. I studied the BABOK and I studied the BizBOK, which are the two bodies of knowledge of those communities. And today, I'm fortunate to serve on the board of directors. I'm loving it, and it's a very exciting opportunity.
That's great, and actually, it's a huge path, by the way. And what was your motivation to join the IIBA board?
Well, I've been associated for a while, and I was very impressed with the BABOK. I'd been running teams of business analysts, and we were trying to build a product that actually supported many of the BABOK techniques. So it was a natural thing for me to want to be able to contribute to the evolution of the practice. I believe in supporting, and I love the idea of an organization that developing people, an organization that has a global reach and a meaning, and it's full of volunteers, people that give their time to something that they believe in.
And actually, I feel you, because I joined the chapter board recently, and I could share my reasons, motivations why I joined it. So basically, it correlates with yours, because I share the values of IIBA, and I feel that I could contribute and help us, because I'm a BA as well, to achieve broader goals in terms of our profession.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, how do you manage your priorities between work, personal life, and volunteering?
My wife wants to know the answer to that as well. My personal life probably comes last, unfortunately, but it shouldn't. No, it is a challenge. It's a constant challenge, I have to confess. I think we just get better and better at it as we go, I hope. A balanced life is so important, and that really is. It amounts to being disciplined about setting time aside for the things that are important and recognizing when you need to where you need to focus your time. Being a founder of a company, being a CEO of a company, those are incredibly time demanding things, and so I think it's just been an absolute whirlwind of activity for the last 10 years of my life, and so I do struggle with that problem still, but I think I'm getting better at it. I take time out principally in the mornings for my own personal things, and it's not difficult to find time to apply to the IIBA, because I just love it so much. So yeah, that's that, and everything else is just work.
Yeah, that's the secret. Love what you do.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, if to get back a bit to the topic of IBA board, what does the IBA board do, and how can people join it?
Well, the board is actually more involved in governance than anything else. Okay, the board doesn't get involved at all in the activities of the organization as such, and nor do we get involved in the team, the leadership team that runs the global organization. But we do. It's all about strategy and governance. So we meet once a month. And then we have those are virtual meetings, and then we have annual event workshops where we get together for a weekend, and that's one of those is normally on the back of the BBC conference, which is coming up next month. So we will have a 2-day workshop together at that time, together with the leadership team of the organization, and together we will be working on strategy for the next year. The outside of that, we have subcommittees within the board. So focusing on, I'm on the IT, the technology subcommittee. So we work with the executive team and the CIO, who's on just looking at the IT strategies and all of their activities and tracking their initiatives with them. So it's probably a little bit more boring than most people would think. It's not glamorous, but it's very exciting to see the growth of the business and to plan the future where the business wants to go. Yeah.
So if people love more like to do some stuff, it's better to join as volunteer, as a part of the team, and proceed with activities.
I think that's right. The board has only got a limited number of people. It varies. We're about 8 or 10, I think, at the moment. And interestingly, not all of the members of the board come from a BA background. In fact, many of them are experienced board directors, and that's equally important. Having experience on being on a board is more important, perhaps, even than having experience as a BA. That said, they always try to make sure that part of a good percentage of the members do come from a BA background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And how could you describe the greatest benefit for a business analyst to join the IBA? As a member or as a community, just listener or volunteer?
Well, as a member, I mean, obviously, the one of the most important things that the IIBA does is gives you access to a fantastic body of knowledge that is very educational in being a BA. And then also drives towards the certifications. Obviously, certifications is one of the key strategies of the IIBA. And being certified means that you've understood a structured method, a methodology to being a BA, and you've studied and you've put that rigor into your career. It's a huge investment that you make, but it pays. Being certified IIBA BA is going to do wonders for your career. It gives you a solid grounding. I always feel like when you are firm in your knowledge and in that you're working in your career, then your level of confidence, the ability that you have not only to do your job, but to feel secure in your job and confident in your job, it just is going to change who you are and the way you interact with people and the way that you're perceived. And it's just going to boost you substantially. You're never having to make things up. You're never having to try and pretend. You're acting from a basis of expertise and knowledge, and that can only be gained by putting the work into learning and studying and advancing your discipline as a business analyst. And I think that's the most amazing thing. It just empowers you to be a better professional. Now, not only so, and then the next great thing is that you have the opportunity to participate as a as an IIBA member in the communities, in the chapters. There are so many opportunities of events and conferences where you can find other like-minded people. You can learn from one another, and that the power of community is enormous.
And what would you advise to the younger colleagues who just started their BA path?
My advice is stick with it. I mean, this is one of the most amazing journeys that you can have. You know, a BA is one of the nicest things about a BA is that this is where you get to understand the inner workings of your business. You are perhaps designing the future of your business. You're on the cusp of change. You know, what is a business analyst? A business analyst only exists to design change. You know, if there was no change, we wouldn't need a business analyst. So as a business analyst, you're creating the future. You are helping to think about the better ways in which you're going to improve how your organization works. That's a powerful role. That's a very, very significant, important function that you play in an organization. And with that background, that curiosity for improvement, that desire to help make things better, that is something that will just propel you forward in your career. And the career path for people who've started as business analysts is so diverse. You know, it just is incredibly good grounding for somebody who has an analytical mind to be to pursue. You couldn't choose something more that gives you more range of opportunities, I think, than starting your career as a BA.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, that BA is always about to be state, about the future state, and even profession develops us.
Yeah.
And how do you stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies in the business analysis field, or just in general in IT?
Reading is number one, right? So there's so many sources of knowledge today, and you know, I subscribe to so many newsletters and so many different bodies of knowledge. I believe in continuous learning. I think there's just no end with. The more we know, the more we learn about how little we know and how much there is to know. So that is just a very exciting opportunity. So the IIBA gives you many, many opportunities at a local level to interact and to participate in events, and I thoroughly recommend them. You know, the many diverse speakers that you get exposed to, and the conferences. If you get ever an opportunity to go to any of the international conferences, you know, next month we have the BBC event, the Building Business Capability event in Las Vegas. This is one of the most exciting conferences of the year. What is so great about it, there's a couple of days of tutorials, then there's 2.5 days of just many, many different tracks, listening to other BAs explaining about things that they do in their business and the successes that they've had in their role. Just absolutely amazing opportunity, and not only from other practitioners, but also from really important professionals in our space, leaders and thought leaders in the community of business analysts, business architects, and so on, and all the associated practices around. So there is no end to the opportunity for learning and continuing to learn.
Yeah, that's true. What is your most memorable achievement in your career? I would not point it to particularly BA path, but just in general.
The most memorable moment in my career, I think, well, in my case, I discovered I was a solution architect originally before I became a BA. That's interesting, coming back that direction, not common. But I used to do technology implementations for big, large global organizations. So I'd go in and implement technology for big customers. And as a solution architect, you come in a little bit after you kind of land, get parachuted into a situation where somebody's sold the customer some promises about what this technology is going to do, and then you need to go and implement that and design how it's going to work. And I would be sitting there knowing all about our technology, but knowing nothing about the business, the customer, who we were going to work for. And I would ask them, I'd say, okay, first day, I'm in a room and they're all sitting there expectantly expecting me to come and explain what we're going to do. And I'd say, can somebody tell me what you do and how you operate? And they would look at each other and say, as if no one had ever asked them this question before. They had nothing to explain very well what they do. And so maybe someone would get up with a pen and try and draw a few boxes on a whiteboard. And I would go, really? Is that all you have? Is that all you can tell me about your business? Why are we so poorly? Why do businesses, are they so badly equipped at explaining the business operation? And that was my inspiration, actually, which then said to me, I think we need to have a much better interactive model of a business operation. That was what I went off and started to study. How would you build a model? And that's become my company and my product. But it all came from that realization of just how poorly businesses are able to explain what they do. And that's the opportunity for business analysts and business architects. Yeah. Can I make one point? The difference between a business analyst and a business architect. Right?
Sure.
Business analyst engages in projects, right? Almost every business analyst is assigned to a project, and the projects have very short duration. You do the project, and you're building a system typically, or you're making some change to some processes or something. Finish the project, it's implemented, and you move on. All the analysis that you did, that's the one time that the business invested money in somebody to analyze the business. And generally, that project information dies. The system is developed, but the analysis dies. And that is such a tragedy to me. But what does a business architect do? Business architect is trying to build something enduring. They want to understand how all this knowledge connects and how you can analyze it. So there's a very interesting connection here between these two worlds, which I'm trying to ever more connect these two worlds together, because I feel like if every piece of an analysis got given over to business architect, it became enduring, incrementally evolving. If we had only ever analyzed the same thing once, put it into the repository and become part of the operating model. Universal definitions. We only have one definition, and we know once we've decided it, everybody knows. That's what we need to get to, that point where these things come together. That's my vision.
Yeah, that's the great summary and recap of. But what would you name as the biggest challenge in your career?
The biggest challenge for me has been to build a business, because I call myself a reluctant entrepreneur. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a business analyst and business architect. Oh my gosh, I have to build a business as well. And that's been a challenge. A long time, a lot of learning, a lot of self-discovery, a lot of doing things that I don't really like doing, or I'm not very good at doing, and discovering all my weaknesses in those spaces. And my heart has been a little bit torn at not having enough time to be where I really wish I would be. But I would say on the back, in the counterpoint to that, the point that I was making earlier, I think that my career in business analysis and business architecture, that's really given me so much of the background to be able to do the job that I've now got to do.
Yeah. Kind of universal skill, business analysis.
Yes.
Can be applied everywhere.
Yes.
So we are almost at the end of our interview, and Yeah, I would like to ask, what do you think about the future of the business analytic professional?
Look, I think it's extremely positive. The organization just continues to grow. The IIBA, as just in the time that I've known the organization, has just developed and professionalized so much. The quality of the materials, the level of professionalism of the organization, it's astounding to me. And being on the board has revealed so much that I didn't even know about the organization, and the demand for the sorts of things that we do, and hearing about what the executive team are doing and their exciting opportunities that they're constantly uncovering. The growth in the membership that maybe has stalled previously for a while, which seems to be now picking up, the opportunity for more and more certifications in different areas. So all of that is huge. But outside in the real world, the business analyst profession, I just read today an article in our local Sydney Morning Herald down here about the demand for how the demand for business analysts is exploding at the moment. And so, and that happens because change, as I said from the beginning, business analysts help design the future. They are all focused on change, and change is happening faster and faster and faster. Our companies are having to adapt and to change continuously. And in fact, it's not even about changing, it's about building the capacity to continuously change. And that means having the resources, the internal teams, the analysts that are able to help you. That gives you the agility and the competitiveness to be able to respond constantly to change. So I think the future of BA is just going to become more and more strategic, the function of the business analyst is just that it becomes more and more important the faster that we change.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And by the way, for the end, do you have and could share any spoilers or insights from IBA about new standards, guidance, anything?
Well, I might have to disappoint you maybe there. I really can't, and it might just come from the perspective, perhaps, that people might think that what we do on the board is that we are actually involved in putting the strategy together and working on that. Actually, we don't. We get to see the strategy after it's been prepared, and we debate it and we work it through with the team. But we don't take an active hands-on role in guiding the organization. We're a governance team. We're not the executive team, and there's a clear distinction there between those two. I think that you've got the best leadership that the IIBA has had for a long time is in place right now. And I see the practices and the chapters are just getting stronger and stronger. I'm so happy to see Belarus and the successes you guys have had recently, which I'm well aware of. And congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Great example. And I hope that we'll start to see some Belarus people, making it way up to the leadership and to the board eventually.
Yes, I think it will be a very great achievement somewhere in the future.
Yes,
yeah,
I'm sure that's the case.
Thank you, Terry, for this conversation today. It was a really pleasure to talk to you, and I hope we could meet in the future, maybe in a year.
Thank you, Yulia. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in to listen. I appreciate it, and wishing you all much success. Thank you.
Thank you.